place to socialize, whether it's at home, in the living room, or out at a park on a nice warm day. What's great about places for social gatherings is the wide scope of diversity you can find, with all sorts of things going on at different times. I find practically all of my friends at some point or another in the Anvil at the University of Valley Forge. It's a great place to socialize and a great place to decompress from classes, although students like to use the space for homework and studying as well. It also became somewhat of a multi-purpose room for different activities, one being the intern and career fair, bringing all sorts of companies and businesses from the surrounding community to UVF. It also became a place for an interview on how public Bible reading impacts a community. Jasmine's and the recreational room give students some ways to refuel and recalibrate the concentration, and I think that's why people primarily choose to convene in the Anvil. I know students and friends like to gather and converse in lounges or outside on the benches, if the weather permits, but you can almost always find people in the Anvil. People certainly enjoy themselves in the Anvil. You can tell by their faces. Unforeseen circumstances, though, would change that. On Sunday, March 15th, the president of UVF issued a statement that all public buildings on campus were to be closed, including the Anvil, and we had to leave by Monday night. People tried to squeeze out as much time as they could to be together before they all had to part their separate ways. Coronavirus has killed tens of thousands of people, countless work opportunities, and virtually all social gatherings. In its destructive path, it has left people wondering, how long? I wanted to know why people exactly went to the Anvil, so I asked Grant and Loretta. I asked if it was a great place to meet up with friends. Grant said it was the best place because everyone knows where it is, so they could say, "Hey, I'll meet you at the Anvil," and they would all know. And Loretta agreed. She said definitely it was where she always met up with others to go somewhere or to hang out. And there's one thing that Loretta and Grant also agree on, and it's what they miss most about not being able to go to the Anvil. Loretta says it's the people, being able to hang out. And Grant says that he can't just go about his day and see his friends while going to class or see what people are up to. That's what he started to get used to. And Loretta said that it's tough just talking over Snapchat or Skype, and it's very different from seeing people face to face. Being in others' presence has a different effect. She enjoyed those times, probably because she's a more personable person. While it was the main hub for Loretta and Grant, would it be the main hub for most people to meet up and hang out? And they both agreed. Loretta said yes, she believed it was, especially during the day. There was generally a group of people in there somewhere. Sometimes it would seem the people were sparse, especially over the weekends, and a lot more people would be over when Jasmine's would be open, but even after it would close, people would still hang out. And Grant said, it's a hallway that's always traveled, but a good meeting place. I had one final question for Loretta and Grant, and it involves a game of pool that they had that I captured, and I wanted to know how this whole bet started. So from Grant's story, he says that the deal was, if she won the game of pool, Grant would have to dye his hair an orangish color, and if he won, Loretta would have to dye her hair. Nick Melakrinos, another student, was asked by them what they should do, and he suggested to dye their hair, so they went with it. From Loretta's perspective, she wanted to fool around and have a fun game of pool. So one time she asked him if he wanted to do a bet for fun, and they thought about it for a while, then agreed to it. But she also wanted him to look like Archie from Riverdale, so that's why she wanted him to lose the bet. One thing she noticed was that either she's just terrible, or he plays much better when the stakes are high. Otherwise, it was a lot of fun.